Hi, John Persico here at the Strategy Innovation Channel. Last week I talked about paradigm breaking. This week we will talk about the third and final of the three major concepts that you need to use in order to address a great strategy. And this is paradigm creating. Paradigm creating involves innovation, imagination, and creativity. You might think it is impossible to create a new paradigm, but actually it is done all the time. Let me give you some of my favorite examples. The first one, which I'm sure is well known to every one of you, is Einstein's theory of relativity. In 1917, Einstein, a physicist, developed a totally different way of looking at the world. A view which has revolutionized science and physics and created millions of new products that we use every day. Another closer to home and more recent example of paradigm shifting is social media marketing. Media marketing through social networks. And nobody has done this perhaps better than Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. Although not the creator necessarily of this paradigm, he certainly, much like Bill Gates jumped on the computer paradigm and software paradigm, Mark Zuckerberg was quick to recognize the value of this paradigm. A third involves Walmart. Of course, now the largest company of all time, but at one time Walmart was just an upstart. 1954, Walmart had a Sam Walton's in Arkansas, and there was the giants who had been in existence for over 50 years, like Sears and Penny's and Ward's and Kresge's and W.T. Grant's. And who would have thought that this upstart from Arkansas, on the basis of a paradigm shift, would have totally changed the industry and basically destroyed former companies that had been the greatest in the world. And all because they revisited and rethought how they could distribute products. And this redistribution creates the ability for them to do annual inventory turnovers, in some cases of products as high as 35 turns a year, which of course creates a credible amount of a great deal more profit, enabling them to have the lowest cost in the industry. Jeff Bezos created Amazon, which is now the largest probably retail company online, and they have a tremendous idea, which they've patented, called one-click purchasing. I love the idea because I've been using it for 10 years myself. All my product information is online. When I buy something, all I have to do is do a click, and 3 days later, I go to the door, it's a UPS delivery, and I pick up my product. No fuss, no muss, no problems, and their system has been secure enough since I've been ordering 60, 70, 80 products a year from them that I have never had any problem. They're great on taking the merchandise pack, and I love dealing with them. A few upcoming ideas, of course, are driverless vehicles, which will have the potential of revolutionizing the distribution network of people in terms of end products, in terms of truck drivers and taxi cab drivers, bus drivers. And one of the unfortunate byproducts of this paradigm shift will be perhaps hundreds of thousands of people who now drive for a living and make pretty good wages will be looking for a different work. But that's the nature of paradigm and technology shifts. They do not respect the people that are in an industry, and that's a very unfortunate byproduct. But that's I guess the cost of progress. My favorite one, and the last one I'll mention, is Deming's concept of process quality. In 1986, I graduated from the University of Minnesota with a doctorate in training and vocational education. Was hired by Process Management International. Went to my first Deming seminar and met Dr. Deming. Dr. Deming talked about how high quality costs less than low quality. I thought he was crazy. Of course, most people did at the time. How could higher quality cost less than lower quality? But Deming showed that through his concepts of process improvement, statistical process control, and continuous improvement of the process, you would actually create higher quality at lower cost. Now, all the people I mentioned, Dr. Deming, Mark Zuckerberg, Albert Einstein, Jeff Bezos, they're all visionaries. We know they're visionaries. They're great thinkers, they're great business people. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not in that category. I know I'm not in that category, but can the rest of us create a new paradigm? Is it really possible for people who are average And I'd say the answer to this is maybe. I think it depends on your attitude. And in order to have the right attitude, here's what I think you need. First, you have to have a massive disregard and disrespect for how things are usually done. If you're happy with the status quo, you won't be creating new paradigms. Next, you're going to need a strong desire, not just being dissatisfied with the status quo, but you want to create something truly unique. You have a passion to build and develop or put your imprimatur on something that is truly unique to you and your way of seeing the world. Another key element is a 360-degree vision of your industry. By that I mean you fully understand your industry. You cannot create a new paradigm for an industry by just a casual acquaintance with the current laws of your industry. Albert Einstein was very familiar with the laws of Newton and the physicists that had gone before him. Dr. Deming had been a management consultant who helped revolutionize the distribution networks for World War I products and World War II products, and Dr. Deming was very familiar with a wide range of industries. Another key characteristic is the ability to ask why not. Be curious about why can't you do things. Never take anything for granted. And finally, never take no for an answer. If you're easily discouraged, you're not going to be able to create a new paradigm. People will reject the ideas of doing things differently, and they will want to hang on to the status quo. That's the nature of people, is to be comfortable and to be comfortable in the niche that they're in. So, just to wrap this up, I was thinking to myself, who's the greatest paradigm creator of all time? And I thought of all the people that I have mentioned, but I didn't include him. And that's, or her, but in this case it is a him, and that's Socrates. Why do I say Socrates? Now, I say Socrates because he spent his whole life asking questions, and he was the only man alive who the oracle said truly believed he knew nothing. Yet, he never took anything for granted, and he questioned everything. And of course, he became a martyr for his questions. People often have to sacrifice greatly in order to have change. So that's it for this week. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm going to conclude with asking you to call me if you'd like help for your organization. My number is 612-310-3803, and you can text me at persico.john@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. If you tune in next week, I'm going to talk about a model that I developed called the 5I organization that basically involves 5 business values for the 21st century to help you have a great company. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.